In this video, we are going to have a look at how to install Google Chrome on an enrolled Mac machine by using Intune. So as you can see, we have the Mac machine over here on the screen. This is already enrolled into Intune. So let's just go back into the portal and just verify that. So let's click on Devices and wait for the page to load. Let's click on Mac OS from the left-hand side. And within the Mac OS devices, you can see that I have this particular machine already enrolled into Intune. So it's managed by Intune, it's a corporate machine, it's compliant, and it's running the latest version of operating system, which is 14.5. And the primary user is Rosgala. So it is a machine that is already in Intune. And let's just flip back to the machine and let's just verify that we don't have any other apps apart from the company portal, which was installed as part of the enrollment. So if you haven't checked out those videos, do check out the two videos that we have up in the channel. The first one is about setting up the tenant so that we can start managing Apple devices. And the second one is the actual steps on how to install company portal and enroll a Mac machine into Intune. So once you have watched those ones, it will be useful for you to join this particular video and then follow forward. A quick request from my side. What I have observed is that only about 10% or maybe less than 10% of the user base who is watching the videos are subscribing to the channel. About 92 of the percentage are not even subscribing but watching the channel. So it would be of great motivation if you could subscribe to the channel so that you get notified in the first. So with that out of the way, so let's just go back into the Intune portal. So intune.microsoft.com. In order to install any kind of applications, we have to click on the apps within the left-hand side. And let's select the platform as Mac OS so that it only lists the applications that are useful for the Mac machines. So let's click on Add in order to add an application. And let's select the app type. So for installing Google Chrome, you could either go with the DMG or the PKG because Google provides both the installer types. So let's just go with DMG one. And let's click on Select. And in the next page, it is asking us to provide the actual file that is used for installing Google Chrome. So let's just select App Package File. And here we have to browse to the location where we have the actual DMG file. So in order to download the DMG, let's just go into Google and let's just type in Google Chrome Enterprise Download, not the normal download option. So let's click on that first link that comes up and let's just select Download Chrome. Let's select Mac as the version. Let's go with the stable version. We don't want the beta one. And let's just select DMG. You could either go with DMG or PKG, but let's just, in this example, go with DMG. Click Accept and Download. Wait for the download to complete. I already have the file in my machine, so let's just cancel that one. So if I go into my Downloads folder, so that's where the Google Chrome.dmg file is, which we need in the Intune portal in this section. So we need to just browse to that particular location. Let's just pick the DMG file, click on Open, and it fills in the name and it says that the platform is Mac OS, pretty much around 200 meg in size. It's not MAM enabled, so let's click on OK. Now, it doesn't pre-fill all the information as the Windows apps yet, so let's just make sure that we are doing it properly. So let's just type in Google Chrome. Let's just copy paste so that we can put the same in the description. The publisher is Google. We don't need any other options. You can always go for the optional parameters that we have. You can even put the logo in. But since we are just forcing the installation on the Mac machines, we can omit those ones and click Next. Now we need to specify the minimum operating system on which we are trying to install this Google Chrome. So we could go with, say, macOS Monterey, so 12.0, which is fairly a new version, even though we have two other versions that came after that. So depending upon what version of operating systems you support in your environment, you go for the correct choice. So let's just go with 12.0 in this case and click Next. Now here we have the detection rules to figure out whether we already have the application installed on this particular machine. So we need two pieces of information. One is the app bundle ID and the other one is the app version. So there are various ways by which you can pick this particular piece of information. Let's go with a version in which you can get this particular piece of information from a machine that is I already have a Mac machine on which the Google Chrome is installed. So let me just bring that up. So let me click on Finder. So let's go into Applications, find Google Chrome, right click and say Show Package Contents and go into the contents. And here we have a list called plist, info.plist. This is the file that we need. that kind of gives out all the configuration that we have in an XML format. So let's just open with the text editor. So let's expand it a bit so that visible for you. Let's increase the zoom a bit. All right, so that's quite big. Now we need two pieces of information from the Intune portal. So the first one is the CF bundle identifier. So let's just copy that CF bundle identifier field. And let's go back and search the plist. So Control F, and let's just go for that. So this is what we have, CF bundle identifier. So that's the key. So it's a key value pair. So the first one is the key, and the information that we want is the line below that within the string parameter. So within string, we have com.google.chrome. So that is exactly what we need. So let's just copy that, put the value there. And the app version is a CF bundle short version string. So let's copy that field so that we can search in the plist. Let's get rid of this one and just search for that. So here again, the key is highlighted in yellow. The string that we need is 125.064.2277. Now, depending upon when you install Google Chrome, these numbers might be different. So depending upon the latest version of the Google Chrome, you pick the right value that is listed in the plist file on your machine. So don't go with the same numbers. So let's paste the information here. So that is all what we need. One line of piece of information, the app bundle ID and the app version. So now that we have these things pre-filled, let's click on next. Now, regarding assignments, you could deploy the application into all the devices or all users, or you can have a group. So depending upon how you want this particular deployment to proceed, you can select a group if you want as a POC group, in which you can test the installation on a set of devices, maybe a couple of machines that is used by the IT guys. And if you're happy with the configuration, you can push it down to a wider group of audience. So let me do that. So let me create a group which kind of picks up all the Mac machines by using a dynamic rule. So let's go into groups and try and create a new group. So let me give it a security type. The group name is managed Mac devices, for example. That should be a good enough one. And let's select the membership type as dynamic device. Let me pick myself as the owner. That's not a mandatory field, but it's best practice to have an owner for the group. Now let's click on the add dynamic query. So here we have to give a query which kind of uniquely identifies all the Mac devices that I have. So I'm going for an expression in which device OS type, so the operating system type is a Mac machine, so equals Mac OS. Now this is a mistake. When I say mistake, it is something that comes up all the time. We kind of identify the Mac machines as Mac OS devices, so the operating system name is Mac OS, and that's what we have seen pretty much all over the place. But if you go with this particular query, it wouldn't work. Now, the reason why it wouldn't work is it's expecting a different value for the expression. So in order to find out whether the query that you're constructing is correct or not, there is a new preview feature. So next to configure rules, you have a validate rules preview feature over here. So if you click on that one, so it brings up the rule syntax that you have configured in this first tab, so which is device.device OS type equals Mac OS. So what you can do over here is you can pick one of your Mac OS machine and see whether it gets picked up by the rule. So we are running this query against this particular machine. So let's click on validate, and it says status as no, and it says view details, and it gives you the information as to why it is not picking up the Mac machine. So it is saying it should be typed in as Mac MDM. So the device OS type should be Mac MDM instead of Mac OS. So let's fix that one. So let's go back to configure rules, and let's just say it is Mac MDM. Now let's just validate once again, and it checks out. So the rule is correct, so it will pick up my Mac machine that we have in the tenant. So let's click on save to save the dynamic query, and let's create the group. So while the group is getting created, let's just go back into the Intune portal. Hopefully when I click on add group, it gets picked up. It is fast enough. Let's just search for managed. There it is, managed Mac devices. So this particular group has my single Mac machine in the tenant. If you want to have, you can always go for all devices, but it kind of goes with all the devices. But since we are tailoring it to Mac OS machines as the app deployment scope, it should still be fine. But it is always recommended to have a group in which you have your devices so that you can tailor your deployments and the configurations the way you want. So I have created one group, and let's click on next. Now, the last page gives us the information regarding what we have done so far. So we are trying to install Google Chrome onto the Mac machines that I have. The minimum operating system should be 12.0, which is macOS Monterey. And we have given the detection rules, and we have made it as a mandatory one. And we are giving it to all the Mac managed devices group. Now let's click on create. It takes a couple of minutes for the application to be created and uploaded. So the application gets created straight away, and then it starts uploading Google Chrome onto the Intune portal. So as you can see on the top right-hand side in the toast, it's now uploading the Google Chrome, and let's just wait for that to complete and come back. As you can see, the Google Chrome upload has been finished. So let's just close the toast notification for this one. And here we have Google Chrome, the application that we have, and it's type macOS. It's a DMG one, and the versions and the assignments. So now click on that one, and let's force this installation without waiting for the device to check in the next time. So let's go back into devices, and let's click on macOS devices and find the machine that we have. Click on it, wait for the properties to load, and let's just click on the sync button. So as it says, Intune will attempt to check in with this device. If the check-in is successful, it will sync the current actions or the policies or the applications to this device. Would you like to continue? Let's click on yes. So this is similar to the GP update /force, only we are doing it from the Intune portal side, from the cloud side, in which we are trying to refresh the device status. So now let's go back into the Mac machine that we have. And let's just try and go into the company portal. Click on sign in. As you can see, it has kicked off the sync. So if the sync wasn't running, you could always click on the three dots and just go for check status, and it kicks off the status check from the device side. So in this case, it is pulling the information from the Intune portal. So the trigger is from the end device, and we are trying to say, okay, give me anything that you have for me. So it could be any applications, configuration profiles, or any other settings. So again, similar to GP update /force that we are familiar in the Active Directory world. So the check has been completed. So let's just go back and see whether Google Chrome has landed. It's not yet here. So let's just wait for it to complete. Let's check the app list. Let's just launch the Launchpad. And there it is, Google Chrome that's been installed onto the machine. Let's just launch that just to verify that it has been successfully installed. And there it is. Let's just close all the toast. And don't sign in for the time being. Okay, so it is working as expected. So this is how you install Google Chrome onto a Mac machine by using Intune. So let's just go back into the apps section in the Intune portal, and let's click on macOS devices and see whether the portal has been updated with the installation status. Yes, so it says one has been installed. And if I click on device install status, it will give me the information regarding which machine the application has been installed, the UPN of the user who is using it, the platform, the app versions, and the status. And the same goes for user install status. It just gives me the user account as to who has this particular application. So the Google Chrome installation is complete, and we have verified that the application works successfully on the end machine and the confirmation status on the Intune portal. If this video has been informative for you, do check out my other videos in the channel, where there are quite a few videos around Intune. I do upload videos on a daily basis around Microsoft 365, Intune, Azure, Windows, PowerShell, and general IT stuff. So if it is of interest to you, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you.